It is Monday, the 11th day of November, 2024, and something of massive significance has taken place recently. Some people may disagree with what I'm about to say, but I really do think anyone with any sort of common sense is going to agree with me. And that is that the Chicago Bears put out the single worst offensive line in the history of football yesterday. That's right. For all the bloviating by the football press about how bad the Patriots' offensive line was and has been, the Bears chose to send out straight garbage and get their number one pick of a savior quarterback annihilated by an otherwise pedestrian Patriots defense. It was a sight to behold. It quite frankly provided some hope for the future, which is a bit tough to come by for some folks these days. There was something else that happened. Is what seems like the whole of the country is doing one of two things: either in a state of sheer panic, or celebrating like they've somehow are in line to benefit from a leadership change. Been a rather fascinating study in human behavior, so I'm going to touch on that in a bit here in the United States of Florida. I'll also talk about my outstanding trip to Minnesota that caused the cancellation of last week's episode and probably some other shit as well. I did off to a fucking bang up start as always, huh? I did dig up an old voicemail that I'm going to play because it's only fair. Because there's a lot more to it than than just the voicemail. However, if you want to leave a voicemail, you can, because the voicemail line is back up. 617-804-1557. All that and probably not much else on episode number 166 of the Complaints and Observations POD cast.
Still, a voyage into the mundane and an exercise in futility. Swimming in the absurd while drowning in unearned self-importance. Entirely unworthy of your time. It is the world's worst podcast. This is Complaints and Observations with Dave LaPointe. Who the hell is Dave LaPointe?
I think he's a bum. I think he's an absolute bum.
All right, so let's get this out of the way right off the top. The topic to me is boring, and it has and is it's just not something that is at all in my control. So I can't. I just can't. But look, I'm not thrilled that Trump won because I didn't vote for the guy. And I will be as upfront as possible there, which should come to no surprise to most of you. I am a historically left-leaning centrist. But at the same time, I am not at all surprised. Like, not at all surprised. The writing has been on the wall for a while. I had little faith that Harris could pull it out. And it's just, yeah. But I'll get to the latter part there that I just mentioned in a second. I feel that the GOP is going to work incredibly hard to make all of the promises that he made on the campaign trail a reality. For about 6 months, when all the corruption will ramp up again and previously loyal tenants will start to jump off the ship. There's too much ego. It's just, we've already seen it once. We know how this is going to play out. Except this time they try to they have, oh God, I can't fucking talk. This is going to be a long show, folks. Buckle up. They have to work much harder this time around to probably be shittier than the last time around. But I don't have the confidence that they're going to be able to do it. I think they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. But like for people like me, a middle-aged white man with no children in a very blue state, the impact is relatively minimal to me personally. However, I'm not a grossly selfish asshole who doesn't care about, just the general well-being of, you know, his fellow Americans or his fellow human beings. So I do fear that there could be some steep impact to others. There will likely be an executive order on day one to start trying to round up immigrants with zero forethought and zero plan as to how they're going to do it. Now, if there are immigrants in this country that are criminals, yeah, they need to go. But that number is far smaller than we're being led to believe. Most of the people that are here illegally that don't live in Texas or along the border, uh, are just overstaying visas. Those are the people that have been here for forever, and those people have a legitimate concern because they kind of know where you are. But they'll start to try to round up immigrants, illegal or otherwise, and deport them. There'll be a big show of it, probably, and a large number of people will likely be affected. Now, how many of those people are going to be in places that, like Massachusetts or, I don't know, Missouri, Wyoming? Wyoming, especially. Like, that's just hilarious. People in Wyoming talking about the border crisis. Nobody in their right fucking mind is going to Wyoming, so fuck off. But it's going to be a thing, but at the same time, I don't see it lasting long. I do see a relatively, more people than it should probably end up being will probably, blah, 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 probably, be deported. Again, I just don't see. There's no plan. Like he can just say we're going to round them up. That's not how it works. How do you do it? Oh, we don't know. We'll do it anyway. No, like it's not going to happen. Then he'll probably, some measures to maybe for abortion or whatnot. That'll likely fail, and then he'll move on to, even more vulnerable people, the gay community, the LGBTQIA plus. I can't keep track of it. I'm sorry. But there'll probably be something that will satisfy the masses foaming at the mouth for some sort of weird revenge for people that really don't have any effect in their lives. But specifically, some sort of anti-trans legislation will get moving because the right seems to think that there are men willing to go through the trouble, pain, suffering, and mental anguish of transitioning to get an edge in a swimming pool or to be a you know a backup Division III softball outfielder or just to generally invade a mall bathroom just to take a shit in a different spot. They care far too much about whether someone that they don't know or who will have no impact on their lives, whether or not that person has a cock or a cunt. Oh, but eggs and gas might be cheaper for 6 months before it goes back to the same corporate gouging that we've been seeing for the last 4 years. Like eggs. How the fuck did eggs become a talking point? Like, fucking hell, so many people always focus on the wrong shit. But look, that'll change when he starts slapping tariffs on everything and anything that comes into this country that he's been screaming about. 60% on Chinese goods, 20% on everything else. If he gets his way, it'll destroy the economy. I'm sorry, but it will. Apparently, he said that he'd go up to 200% on John Deere products because they had the nerve to move a plant to Mexico. Yeah. And he also says that, the importers in foreign countries would pay those tariffs, but, he's never been good with facts. The actual U.S. importers would pay that, and the money goes directly to the Treasury. Do you think John Deere is going to swallow a 200% tariff on a 20K tractor? Fuck no. And that's a 20K tractor. It's probably a median price for some of their shit. It's not going to happen. Like John Deere might just stop selling shit to the U.S. They probably couldn't, so they'd probably just shut down. The Chinese are going to outsmart us again and just start buying up U.S. companies that bottom out, like maybe John Deere, because of these fucking tariffs, and then make shit here to avoid paying them altogether. So, in other words, the exact opposite of what far too many people think would happen. Taxes get lower? Yep, but not for you. There's no one listening to this shit that's going to see a substantial change to their tax situation. No one. If there is someone who resides in that top tier that would see a change, you're probably a fucking prick. But please tell your friends. Your vote didn't elect him. Corporate money and super PACs owned by billionaires did, and they want something in return, which is even more money. And it's also yours. Don't be fucking fooled. And that's the part that gets me the most. It's just how fooled so many people are. Here's the thing, right? I don't really entirely begrudge people that vote Republican. I don't. It's, that particular Republican that I have an issue with, but just in general, okay? If just whoever is up there with an R next to their name and you vote straight party lines, all right, fine. I guess I can accept that because at least you have some like historical evidence of backing Republicans in the past. You like to say that you're fiscally conservative, which is fine. I don't have an issue with that. But like it's the and I'm not going to call it a cult because I think that's just so overplayed and stupid. I just don't I again, I generally think that people are smarter than they lead on. I really do. And I don't think that anyone who voted for the guy is just some evil fucking I don't know person. I just don't. I don't feel that way because I really don't think that everyone who did is. It's not it. It's not true. So the number of people on the left who have just been apoplectic about the whole thing is so like I don't think it's beneficial to anyone, especially people on that side of the aisle, to have that kind of reaction. I read some shit on from people I know that I personally know that I would call friends who posted shit that was just like some sociopathic behavior. If you voted for Trump, you should fucking die. What? What? Like, instead of sitting back and trying to figure out what went wrong and then trying to figure out how you're going to help the situation, probably think before you post something like that. But, it's the internet. It'll never go away. It'll haunt you. But here's the thing, right? This was ultimately another bang up job by the Democrats. The Democrats never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. Copyright Billy Corbin. Thank you. When will they learn that politics in 2024 is about perceived image and fear and not a matter of who can actually do a good job? When are they going to figure that out? Because their candidate lost again because of that. And the whole thing leading up to this was just fear. And that was everything on the right was, you need to be afraid of this. You need to be afraid of that. They have cornered the market on making a large percentage of the base afraid of their own fucking shadow. They have done a bang up job of that. But the left needs to call it out, and they don't. They're afraid. And we're stuck with this full GOP government because the Democrats are just weak and dumb. They fell for all the traps. All of them. Like the whole cats and dogs thing. Even if fucking stupid ass JD Vance he didn't mean to do it, but he did it in such a manner that it caused a stir, and that's all anybody was thinking about. Classic traps, and they fell for them again. Like the cats and dogs thing, they should have just said, listen, that's bullshit. You know it. I know it. Let's move on. Let's talk about the economy. Let's talk about how we're actually going to do shit to benefit the vast majority of people in this country. Nope, didn't do that. They got stuck on shit like that for weeks. Like, she should have come out swinging from day one and just hammered the right, hammered Trump. That's what she should have done. She chose not to. She went with being nice, and it doesn't work. Like that base is so fooled by Trump that the Dems should have just ignored them altogether. Like, Mississippi, you like being 49th in everything? So be it, we're on to Pennsylvania. Ohio, you like that Dollar Tree mannequin JD Vance? Great. We're on to Wisconsin. Florida, you like, fuck off. You're a lost cause. We'll stay in Georgia. But nope. You tried. And then you went and lost all 7 swing states. And your numbers went down in every state. They needed to show that Trump and the right care more about image over policy, money over families, perception over reality, and so much more. But they didn't, and they got fucking crushed. Allowing Biden to run again set them so far back they couldn't catch up. They didn't do nearly enough to get people out to vote. Look, you can't just have celebrities make commercials. That doesn't work. You need more. Like, the people in the middle and the people on the right don't give a fuck about celebrities. You know who does? The left. Like, no one gets a bigger hard on over a George Clooney donation than the left, or a fucking big ticket fundraiser. And look, we could talk about money and fundraisers and all that shit. That's a whole year worth of episodes that I don't want to do because I hate it. Like Citizens United has flat out ruined this country. Flat out ruined it. But that's for another time. They didn't remind the public of just how many people voted in 2022 in 2020. Ugh. And it was way more than last week. Harris is going to be down about 9 to 10 million votes versus what Biden got in 2020. The overall total turnout was down percentage-wise versus the previous election. Trump only got about 1 to 2 million more votes than 2020. It was just the general apathy of a large swath of the populace who still can't imagine the idea of having a woman as president. You've tried twice and you've failed twice. It's admirable because you put up two candidates who were exceedingly qualified. Doesn't matter anymore. Qualifications mean shit to far too many people in this country. If the Democratic Party had any fucking brains, they would have already spent the last week working diligently to formulate an actual plan with an actual cohesive platform, talking points, you name it, in getting ready for the midterms and getting ready for 2028. They need to remember that you can't be everything to everyone. You can't. It is not possible. As much as you want to be, you can't do it. And until the left figures that out, we're stuck with what we have. It's disappointing, but again, if you had any clue, you kind of could see that this was going to happen. It was just, I don't want to say it was inevitable. It became inevitable. But I don't know. It's so frustrating because it just seems as if, the majority of the country just hates shit that they don't know anything about. And I think that's part of the problem. And again, there are people who are can argue all day long about tax plans and the deficit and the economy and shit that's way over my head. Admittedly so. But I mean, to think that somehow the president is going to have anything to do with the price of eggs is something that I just can't figure. Like we never have our eye on the ones that are actually causing the problems. This is an oligarchy at this point. There's going to be a handful of people that are going to be in charge. And you saw that fucking dumbass Elon Musk jumping around up on stage. That motherfucker is going to have a very prominent position in the government again until the two of them have a disagreement and we don't hear much from Elon anymore is my guess in about 9 months or so. There's too much ego, and that's going to be a problem. So that's it. I'm not going to talk about it much anymore. Mainly because again, uh, as I've said numerous times, I'm not smart enough to do that. I have my own, personal feelings and biases and things of that nature, but I'm not educated enough to do it. However, these days, that doesn't seem to mean fuck all. So, I don't know. I'm kind of I'm kind of not I don't know. Where am I going with that? I'm not sure. I just don't think that, again, I've said this before, but I give Americans the benefit of the doubt, and they're showing their true colors on a regular basis, but uh I can't figure that we're this dumb and shitty. Boy. Feel free to call in 617-804-1557 and tell me how dumb and shitty I am. Because look, people are going to disagree, and that's fine. I get it. Like, that's part of the deal. That's how civil discourse should go. Just, I don't think we have that. We don't have much of it anymore, civil discourse, which again is a shame. But so that's it. I've wasted roughly 23 minutes on this, and it's more than I really wanted or should have. But moving on. So, as I mentioned, um, the the wife and I, my better two-thirds, went to Minneapolis, Minnesota, last weekend for our annual football trip. And as always, like, I am just enamored by the Midwest in general. And Minnesota and Minneapolis didn't really disappoint. I mean, is it do I like Minneapolis more than, say, Cincinnati? No, but it was fine. Ah, shit. Ugh. That was not a general review of Minneapolis. It was weird because we were in like the downtown area, a stone's throw from the baseball stadium. Not a stone's throw, but we could have walked, and I'm pretty sure we did walk to US Bank Stadium, where the Vikings play. So we were in a great location, but man, that's a dead area on the weekends. Like, we left on a Monday, and it seemed like things were picking up, like there were more people, but man, downtown Minneapolis over the weekend, bit of a ghost town. Like, there were some places that were buzzing. We the Friday night, we got there Friday afternoon. Friday night we went to the Minnesota Wild, taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. What a great building. Like, we were sitting third tier and had a ton of room, like literally a ton of space. I couldn't believe it. Very steep, but I mean, just an unbelievably comfortable experience. Absolutely loved it. We both had a great time. Now, we left. It was like, I think it was like 2-2 in the third, and we left with um I don't know, maybe like 9 minutes to go, and got in the Uber to get back, and uh we get to the hotel, and I just happened to look at the score. It's like 5-3. I'm like, what? Yeah, we left, and there were 6 goals scored in the last 8 minutes of the game. Like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Yeah, 6. Minnesota scored 4 times. It's a 1-1 game. That's what it was. 1-1. Yeah. Minnesota scored 4 times. Tampa scored twice. 5-3 in a real barn burner of a matchup. Minnesota's fucking good. I didn't realize it until afterward, but wow. Yeah, that's a good team. Uh Kirill Kaprizov. slowly but surely becoming one of the best players in the league. Kid's good, and man, the people love him there. They legitimately love the kid, which is interesting. But yeah, Russian kid. My guess is that he's big fan of Vlad. If I had to guess, I don't know. But there was an issue with him like getting out of Russia. Apparently, military shit, which is funny. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know. But hey, kid's a fucking hell of a winger. Let me tell you. But it was fun. I enjoyed that. It was pretty good. Um, Saturday we went to this awesome British pub. Place was called Brits Bar, and of course it's just you know fucking soccer fans filling the joint. There was like a whole room of just Liverpool fans because there were a bunch of front running bums. There was a front bar full of Man City fans because there were a bunch of front running bums. And then there's a smattering of supporters in different places. I went upstairs, or we went upstairs to where the West Ham game was on, and there was one dude wearing a West Ham shirt who might have been friends with the owner. There was a guy that was bopping around that kind of looked like he was giving off a owner vibe. But this place was fucking great. Like massive property, had like a huge outdoor area, like a whole like lawn bowling section. It was great. Like it's the sort of place that, if we lived there, I could see us going there often. Like it was just that good. But there was a bunch of great bars. Like that night we ended up at this place called the Lions Main Pub or something like that. Well, turns out it was a Nebraska football bar. So we happened to stumble in when they were getting their ass kicked by UCLA, so that was fun. But just a cool bar. There was a bunch of really nice bars in this town. I enjoyed it. We drank way too much, and I've been mindful of my alcohol intake since. I think I need to kind of reel it in a bit. Not that I'm a raging alcoholic, but probably be good for me. The game itself was the Vikings game was fun. Another like just massive stadium. We ended like we didn't. I bought like the cheapest seat I could just to kind of get in, and then we wandered around the various levels of the building and ended up in a couple of different spots. But uh, you know, it was enjoyable, and I would definitely. It's the kind of place that if somebody, if the Patriots are playing there and somebody's like, "Oh, I've never been," you know what? It's good. It's pretty good. The only thing, like, they had a big kind of tailgate thing, but nothing like we've seen in some other places where they have like, where they roll out the old players, you know, signing autographs, shaking hands, kissing babies, selling cheap beer. I tried to find like something that uh like we had in Atlanta where we stumbled upon like the radio station's tailgate, paid $5 and drank for free. Yeah, that didn't exist. It was really, it's like, look, Atlanta's in the South. You're not going to have that, Dave. So, you know, but the PA guy at the stadium is fucking awesome. Like a totally fake deep voice. Oh, just chef's kiss. The guy was amazing. He's probably like 85 and been doing this forever, but he was fucking great. Amazing. They did this one thing though that was kind of a tad off-putting at halftime, where it was called mascots versus fourth graders. And it was literally a bunch of mascots from like the Vikings, the Timberwolves, the the Lynx, which is the WNBA team. Somehow, the guy from the Rams was there. They didn't play them. No, they played the Colts. Yeah, the Rams. A mascot from the Rams was there. The Colts mascot, whose like move is to like hip thrust, and like his belly will come like bopping out every time he does it. It's I don't know. It's a little inappropriate, if you ask me. And it loses its humor after the fifth time that he does it. But that's the mascot game, right? So, anyways, it's a football game between mascots and fourth graders. And I'm thinking the whole time before this, I'm like, wait a minute, these are adults, not just adults, but these are in shape adults. I don't know if it's men or women in these uh in the costumes, right? But clearly they're playing fourth grade boys and girls in football. Mismatch city. And there were a couple times where, like a fucking little kid gets a stiff arm from a mascot and down he goes. Look, it was hilarious. Like, I'm not going to lie, it was funny. But on the flip side, it's disturbing. Who came up with that fucking idea? Hey, I got a great idea. Let's have a bunch of fourth grade kids get mauled by mascots. What? No. Like, that's not cool. You can't do that. And then, of course, it ended in a tie because nobody can ever win, right? But I mean, if it was legitimate, these mascots would have fucking wiped the floor with these people. But, it's not entirely accurate. Or not accurate. That's not the right word I'm looking for. On the level, right? But we wrapped up the trip by visiting Paisley Park. If you're not familiar with Paisley Park, it is the sometimes home, sometimes performance space, sometimes workspace, recording space of one Prince Nelson Rogers. Did I get that right? Pretty sure that I did, but it's Prince. And it was very interesting, I must say. I enjoyed it. Prince Rogers Nelson. Fuck, I got it backwards. Fuck. God damn it. Anyways, it was very interesting. I'm glad that we did it, even though it was like a half-hour drive outside of uh Minneapolis in a town called Chanhassen. It's just terrible. But it was cool. Like, really, really enjoyed it. A very good look at him as an artist. Okay, it didn't really delve a ton into, uh, you know, his. It was a little bit about his upbringing, but not a ton. I would have been. I was very curious about sort of the early days of his career, like the pre-Purple Rain time, like in the other bands that he was in, and like what happened to these other guys, and like what made him kind of try to go off on his own. They did a little bit of that, like when he basically just up and went to Los Angeles after he had already been somewhat established in Minneapolis, and he basically got signed in a seemed like from what it said a matter of weeks. Got signed to Warner Brothers, which ended up in his mind being a horrible deal. And one of the cool things was talking about that the whole symbol that he, basically changed his name to, or so he told everybody. It was simply out of the desire to get out of his record contract and his agreement with Warner Brothers. Had nothing to do with anything else. It was just a way to just to get out of what he thought was a bad deal. He made 4 albums in 2 years to satisfy his contract before he got out of it. Then he got all of his basically his catalog back on New Year's Eve, 1999. How ironic is that? Apparently, it wasn't done purposely, according to the tour guide. We had a very enthusiastic tour guide. He was really, really good. I enjoyed it. Jen was like, no. I mean, what the fuck? What do you want? A boring tour guide for a Prince tour? No, you need someone who is like over the top enthusiastic for the subject matter. And he was. The all the memorabilia was very interesting. Like, we literally could not take pictures. They made us put our phones into like this locked thing so that we couldn't take pictures in the museum. Which, like, there was nothing in there that's I don't know, like top secret info. Like, one of the places we went into, there was literally the recording studio for where he, recorded a lot of shit, and it was awesome. Just really, really cool. Parquet floors, like super soundproof. Like, the booth was cool as hell. He had a special room for all his guitars, which was neat. So there was a lot that was super interesting, and I would again strongly suggest people check it out. The only thing that the gift shop kind of sucked. It was a bit underwhelming, to be honest. Yeah, the gift shop. That's my takeaway. The gift shop sucked. Yeah, it was just kind of lacking. I don't know. I felt like they could have done better. Sadly, his only remaining sibling, she died either the next day or the day after. But it was literally right around that time. And I'm thinking, boy, if we were in there, I could just imagine like the full on panic that probably would have ensued because they take Prince very seriously at Paisley Park. Like, apparently there's a 9-hour documentary about Prince that is literally sitting on a shelf, never to be released, because the people that are a part of the Prince estate and Paisley Park are nervous about, Prince getting not canceled, but like sort of that there's enough in there that they seem to think that people aren't going to care about Prince anymore. And I'm like, there's no fucking way. The guy who made the OJ doc that came out during COVID, Ezra Edelman, same guy. He's the one that has been working for like 4 years on this Prince documentary that is 9 hours long, that he had to get approved like by the estate, the estate, not the state, stupid, by the estate multiple times. And they approved everything right up until the very last cut. Like, he had to go and reduce it. He had to shorten it by like 3 hours. Because I guess that was something that was in the contract. Like, okay, it can only be 6 hours long. Like, that's random. But that seems to be the whole MO with that guy and now his estate. I'm very curious to see if his sister's passing is going to change that, because I think it would be fucking cool as hell. Fingers crossed. So, yeah. And apparently the whole thing about pancakes, legit. They talked about it more than once, about how his favorite food was pancakes. How bland. Pancakes, buddy. It's flour and water and egg. So much to it. Pancakes. So I said I was going to dig up a voicemail. And I have. It was the last voicemail that the previous phone number received, which was 617-65 Rip'em. And it is from dedicated listener Heather. Now, the date on this is September 8th, 2023. So I at this point had gone probably, almost 2 months, roughly, since the last show, the previous iteration of this crap. So it was a solid 2 months that I hadn't recorded, but she was so dedicated to the complaint line that she felt the need to call and complain. The downside is, that was the last complaint. So clearly her life has improved tenfold, because she has nothing to complain about. Anyways, check it out.
Hey Dave, it's your long lost pal Heather. I know it's been a really long time. I guess I just didn't really have much to complain about. But today, I felt like I had a big need to call you. I'm driving to work, and I have Spotify Premium, and I paid that full $11 a month. And I swear it was better when I didn't pay for it. Because you used to get on the daily mixes, like, new music you haven't heard, and then you can select that artist, make a new playlist off of that, and you got to really discover, like, all these new bands and songs and artists. And now it's like I say I like one song, and they just repeat it in every single playlist, no matter what playlist it is, and it's just so frustrating, because I'm not listening to any new music. I hear the same shit every day. And at that point, it feels like I'm listening to the radio. And, like, $11 is, like, pretty steep to just listen to music that you hear the same every day. I wouldn't pay $11 for radio. So, yeah, getting a little heated. So, let me know your thoughts. Looking forward to hearing from you, and I'll tune back in a little bit more. Sorry for the delay. All right, bye.
So a couple of things right off the bat. One, I'm pretty sure Spotify has raised their price by $1 since she called and complained. Two, I don't care for Spotify. I understand it's very popular. I understand that it's basically the home of this garbage podcast, but I don't like it. I just feel as if, knowing what I know and the research that I did, I tried to figure out, okay, which one of these shit platforms is best for the artist? Because I'm that kind of person. I need to figure out who's fucking who. Spotify pays the least of all the major streamers. The least. The one who pays the most is Tonal, which is owned by Jay-Z. I tried it, and I didn't care for it. So I went back to Apple. Now I'm paying Apple, I think, $11 a month. Plus the $25 a year that I pay them to store the 400 or so CDs that I put up in the cloud. Because look, some of that shit is not in Apple Music. Yeah. Anyway, like, algorithms are fucking weird, right? Like, if you do something once on any of these, whether it's Spotify or Instagram or whatever, any other platform that has an algorithm, like, they're just so fucking stupid. Because they come to the same conclusion, or they make an assumption that, oh, you liked this song by fucking, I don't know. Let's use Prince as an example. Like, if you like one Prince song, you know what you're getting now? A bunch more. And not just Prince songs. Now you're getting a bunch of weird-ass shit that you never would listen to. Just because you liked or downloaded or listened to that one song. Like, the algorithm on Instagram is fucking horrific. You look at the page of one fucking OnlyFans chick, and next thing you know, you're full of it. Now you've got 20,000 of these fucking whores that you're seeing. It's awful, and I don't like it. But I don't like algorithms as a whole. It doesn't. It's not beneficial, and that's the part that like it's very. It's like a quick response, right? And look, I could be dead wrong, but the problem is if the algorithm just keeps giving you the same thing over and over again, and you're only looking at what it's giving you, like no matter how hard I try to just watch cat videos on Instagram, there's always going to be some 24-year-old buxom. I don't want to say the word slut because I don't know these people. That's not nice. It's just it'll be 6 cat videos in a row, and then boom, OnlyFans girl. It's like, oh fuck, and then you start flipping up. But now you're stuck. Now you're looking at fucking 20 of these broads before you finally get back to a cat video. It's not fair. I sent an email to Mark Zuckerberg and I said, Zuck, what the fuck are you doing here, dude? Like, clean it the fuck up, man. This is not good. It's not kosher. On the flip, I wouldn't pay $11 to play the radio. Like, well, yeah, you just whatever it costs your vehicle. That's what you paid to listen to the radio. But then again, so few people listen to the radio anymore. Not everyone has a modern vehicle such as myself that doesn't have a Bluetooth connection. So you're stuck with the radio. But I listen to fucking sports radio. I barely drive my fucking car. So it's not even that much big of a problem. But look, hopefully now that I've played Heather's last complaint, hopefully she will come back and listen once again. And we can talk about algorithms. You know? All right, it is time for everyone's favorite part of the show. 3 gripes. And this week, it's 4 gripes. Whoa, what? 4 gripes, Dave, you're a fucking madman. Yeah, I'm just crazy, man. Just crazy. Gripe number 1, layoff posts on LinkedIn. This could just be LinkedIn in general, but I've talked about this godforsaken platform numerous times. But the thing that gets me is the layoff post. And it's like, why? Unless you're genuinely happy to have been fired or laid off or downsized, as is often the case, singing the praises of the company that felt your position was redundant for the sake of shareholder returns is laughably fucking stupid. The number of just very long posts about people who have been let go because a restructuring, like it's just corporate jargon for we need to cut costs so that our shareholders can make more money this quarter. Like, just say you'll miss your coworkers and move on. Like, I don't need a dissertation. In fact, I don't think anybody does. Yet, every time somebody gets laid off and changes their little avatar to open for work, it's a thing. LinkedIn is such a weird place where, on one hand, it's just a giant dick measuring contest, and on the other one, it's just people fishing for compliments, right? You get promoted and you make it public. Congratulations. Congratulate. It happens so often that there's standard text now where you don't even have to actually type in the word congratulations. You could just push a button and it'll fill in the name. Like, with the layoff thing. And the thing that got me is like the one that got me, I should say, is this guy's post was like, talking about well, my son is 3 months old, and it's funny how when I took the job, I had just met my now wife. Like, how is it funny? So that tells me you worked for this company for a long time, and they're brushing you aside, and you're going to be talking about just how great it was to work here, to work for a company that looked at your name and your employee number and was like, "Yeah, fuck that guy. See you later." Like, that was probably it. And it was probably done by somebody who doesn't even work at your fucking company. But you're going to take the 20 minutes to type this thing out and you're going to post it because you're looking for sympathy or you're looking for anything. Like, there are people who will post, "Hey, I was part of the X company layoffs. I am proficient in XYZ. If you have any suggestions, let me know." Like, that's the kind of post that you should see when somebody gets made redundant after however many years in a position. That's what you should see. It would be even better if you burned some bridges and said how you really feel, which is, I can't believe these motherfuckers did this to me after X number of years. Also some white collar cocksucker can make a few more dollars. Because God forbid. Oh, it's so fucking, and it's become, look, if you're a fucking dumbass sales weasel like I am, like, LinkedIn is unfortunately a rather vital part of your working life at this point. Like, there are other job boards, um, but I mean, this has grown to be such a behemoth that it's almost too big to fail. Nah, it's not true. It's just huge. And so as you're scouring the internet, the vast ether of the internet, looking for new employment or, ideas for how to not be a sales weasel anymore. I envy you people that own your own business. I really, really, honestly and truly do. That you've come up with something that is viable and that pays your bills, and you don't have to deal with this shit. Kudos. But yeah, the layoff post. I'm just trying to find another job, and you're posting diatribes about the company that just laid you off. And so, what do? I click on where you worked, or I figure out where you worked, and then go to their website and see if they have open positions, because they will soon enough. That's how this always works. Gripe number 2: moms who'll say, "I used to be really hot." Yeah, like, that happened recently. That happened. And it's like, ma'am, who the fuck are you trying to convince? Are you that self-conscious? Conscience? Are you that self-conscious? I just wish I could fucking push a button and rewind this thing 10 seconds and start again. Where's that technology, Spotify, you fuckers? Are you that self-conscious that you're looking for some sort of weird affirmation from a fucking fat schlub like me. It was an after work thing a few weeks ago. And there's this woman there who I didn't know right away. When she said her name, like I knew who she was, but I don't ever recall meeting this woman. Yet she knew exactly who I was. And I'm not sure how. But, here's the thing, right? She probably was pretty hot back in the day. But she's like in her mid 30s. So it's like back in the day. It was like 2 weeks ago. But she's had 2 children and been beaten down by these fucking hellions. And so, like, she's shit faced, which was the other thing. Too many martinis, this one. And she just starts talking and talking and talking. Like, I was trying to leave. I was going to go to another establishment, yet I'm sticking around because this broad won't fucking get out of my way. It won't stop talking. And had I been in another position 10 plus years ago, well, geez, at this point, I should probably say 15. If this was 15 years ago, I may have handled the situation slightly differently, but probably not. I would have, you know, been like, all right, well, are you done talking? Let's go do what we need to do. But, I just sat there and listened, and she said this like twice. And this after the second time, I had to stop her, and I was like, is there a reason that you're saying this? And it was in the context of like talking about her husband and her children and this, that, and the other. And then when I asked her that question, she kind of stopped, but then she launched into another shit about how, apparently she told her husband on her second date that she wanted to be a mom. I'm like, and he stuck around, huh? What a fucking idiot. But apparently this is rather common because I've shared this with other people. And I'm told that this is fairly common amongst moms, where they need to live in the past, if you will. And it's like if you look that bad, obviously there's a bigger problem. If you think you look that bad, I should say. Like the only downside to this woman is that she was a bit frumpy, and she had the largest raccoon eyes I've ever seen in my life. Like I felt awful. So I'm looking at it and like, ooh, ma'am. But to do that, like to just mention that in front of people that you don't really know, like you're fishing, more fishing for compliments, right? At least that's what I think. Gripe number 3: airports. Yeah, airports. Nobody likes airports. They're terrible. How about the food? Here's my problem with and it's not even so much airports, right? I'm gonna single some out. Logan Airport fucking blows. It blows. Like you go to other cities and you see their airports and they're clean. Like that's right off the top. Clean, bright, like food that doesn't totally fucking blow. It's gonna be horribly expensive regardless. But at least you have numerous options. Unlike some terminals at Logan, what do you get? 8 Dunkin' Donuts. No, like I don't fucking want that. The airport in Minneapolis was may as well in comparison was the fucking Taj Mahal. The bathroom. I went into one bathroom at an airport, and the fucking toilet paper was Scott branded, like 3-ply. Unbelievable. This toilet paper was fucking great. Like the fucking shit nest that I built on this toilet was probably 6 inches high. That's how thick and great this toilet paper was. In a completely closed off stall, mind you, right? It's not your standard American stall where the cracks are a foot wide and you can fucking see everybody doing their business when you walk by. No, I'm not staring into this fucking stall, you sick fuck. All right? But this had an actual door. There was a very small opening at the bottom and on the top, but I mean, you couldn't do anything. Like you're closing a door behind you. It was incredible. It was such an enjoyable shitting experience. Flip side, every single bathroom in Logan Airport smells like downtown crossing. It's fucking gross. Like, there is just no care taken. None. Single ply toilet paper. Legitimate single ply. What am I supposed to do with that? What is anybody supposed to do with that? Garbage. Hot, filthy, stinking garbage. And it's just always under construction. There's always shit going on. It never fucking fails. It's an awful experience each and every fucking time. Without fail. So yeah, I should change the gripe. It's not just airports, it's Logan Airport. I'm even going to make that note so I don't forget to put that in the notes. Logan Airport. That's right. Gripe number 4, which ties in to airports, and it's shitty flyers. Just people who are just terrible flyers. And it's always, so we're on a flight home, okay? And as with all of these airlines and their stupid fucking boarding processes, there are people with either too many carry-on bags or bags that are so big that they can't be a personal item. Now, those people have single-handedly ruined the experience of flying. Single-handedly. And the problem is the airlines simply choose not to enforce these rules because they know full well that the person who can't follow very simple rules or who can't be bothered with, any sort of, empathy for others is going to just flip the fuck out. They're going to feel entitled, and then they're going to ruin the experience for everyone else. Sound familiar? Yeah, the United States of Florida. But listen, getting on this fucking plane, they tell you, "Oh, do you want to check your bag for free?" Like, no. Like you fucking own a plane that should be able to fit the rules of the plane, which is one bag small enough to fit into the overhead compartment, and one personal item that fits under the seat in front of you. That does not include other random bags that you want to put into the overhead compartment. That it's not included. You know why? Because anything more than one doesn't fucking belong up there. But they don't do a fucking thing about it. And so, people who get on the plane late, because look, I'm not paying for Comfort Plus. I'm not going to be a member of Delta, fuck all. I just want to pay a ticket, get a seat, put my shit in the bin, and get to where I need to go. That's the extent of our relationship. Yet, if I'm now forced to do more than that, you've inconvenienced me. Like, I have to find a place, you know, however many rows back behind me with open space. See, this is how fucking mad I am because it's so stupid. You ruin it. And it's not difficult. When you're going through the line and you're scanning your ticket, the person who's doing it has chosen not to give a fuck. You want to know why? Because they're paid peanuts. They're paid peanuts. Because the fucking shareholders need to make their money. There it is again. Just keeps coming back, doesn't it? This person is not going to give two fucks about anybody else. All they want to do is do the bare minimum to make their very, very shitty pay. There's zero incentive for them to enforce the rules. Because, again, they know full well that whoever they try to stop is going to pitch a fucking fit. The number of people, it's just, there was one person who walked onto a, we watched this woman. She had like fucking four things. Four things. Different bags. And where did she fucking put them all? In the overhead compartment. And because of that, I had to then wait for a bunch of people to get off the plane. I had to inconvenience a bunch of people behind me to grab my bag out of there. I can't. Again, I could go on for fucking days, but it makes zero sense. Like, this should not be a thing. Again, there are rules. Why is it so fucking hard for way too many people to figure out? Honestly, I could talk about flying all day. Because I love it and hate it at the same time. I love it because it's a necessary evil. But like working in that industry, it just really, really fucking sucks. It sucks. All right, that's it. I've talked way too much, mostly about shit that I didn't want to talk about. And guess what? You're not going to hear much of that anymore. It'll come up on occasion, but that's it. Yeah, I'm not done. I'm going to spend way more time complaining about the side that lost than the side that won, because there's no point talking about the side that won. But, however, there is a point. Call the voicemail line, 617-804-1557. Call in, 617-804-1557. Call in with a complaint, thought, a rumination, I don't know. I got nothing else. Criticism, praise, anything. Call in with anything. I might play it. I might not. If I don't like it, I won't play it. If I don't like you, I won't play it. Why? Because it's my fucking show. And it's for an audience of one. I had a guy that I talked to at work. Oh, I'm looking to book a trip for 3 people. Like, oh, 3 people, huh? It's like, yep, me, myself, and I. Like, oh. So it's just one? Great. That means a lot of work for no money. Yeah. I am on Instagram at ComplaintsPod. I am at Twitter at ComplaintsPod. I do have a Facebook page, but fuck Facebook. I can't figure out a platform that will post on all of these things at one time without having to pay for it, and I don't want to do that. Also on Threads, Threads where people feel the need to post 8 times and talking about themselves. Riveting. I'm there at ComplaintsPod. You will find the show on a variety of platforms. However, you probably won't find it, at least you won't find the very first episode on YouTube. Why? I don't know. Apparently, I said something that YouTube didn't like, which is like, oh, geez, what is it that I said? I don't even know. They tried to like timestamp it, but every time I click on it, it just gives me a dead link. Like, oh, thanks, that's helpful. Like, I know I am a, you know, minuscule fish in a gigantic ocean, but at the very least, you could send me a functioning link. They also rejected me for like I applied for a job with Google and they sent me like an assessment, right? And the assessment is just asking you all sorts of common sense questions about your behavior at work. And I answered them honestly. And they came back and said that I failed the assessment. I was like, how do you fail that? Like, did they not want somebody to say that they, are going to follow the rules? Is that it? Seems it's like that's what it is. Because I failed the assessment. Like, all right, well, guess what? I don't want to work for you either, Google. So go, go pound sand. But you will find me on Spotify. You should find me on Apple. Who the fuck knows? Um, Amazon. I'm on Amazon. iHeart Radio, I think. Um, and a host of others. But Spotify is the home of rock and roll. 94 HJY. Loved that guy. Loved that station. All right, I'm getting way off topic. Yeah, again, 617-804-1557. So feel free, call in. Let me know what's on your mind. All right? Thanks. So that'll do. Take care of yourself, take care of each other. Godspeed. Ta ta.